Welcome back, New Life Garage family. I just wanted to take a minute to do like an introduction to the channel. Basically, when I started the New Life Garage channel, my goal is to bring new life into things that maybe no longer have life, or someone has thrown it away or given up on it. But I don't want it to just be limited to trucks, boats, whatever. It could be anything that you want to breathe new life into. I feel like fits or will fit this channel. It could be a trailer, it could be a vehicle, it could be a boat, it could be Jeep, it could be music, it could be anything. There's a lot of things that people breathe new life into that once was forgotten. So I want this channel to be a positive channel, and I do want to encourage people to not be in a throwaway society, and learn a little bit about how to work on things, how to fix things, and how to use your mind and your hands and your tools in that way, and not to be scared to work on something. If you buy something for the right price, it doesn't matter if you have a hard time fixing it. So I got a couple of projects coming up this winter. One I'm starting today, which is my side-by-side dirty hooker. I rebuilt the motor in this, or the top end, about 4 or 5 years ago. I went through some YouTube channels and watched some rebuilds, and through that I got a little bit of incorrect information, which is why we're back doing this again. I knew this day was coming. I actually downloaded the manual for this rig, and I went through the manual. I was in a rush at the time, and I already had the parts. I already ordered a rebuild kit for it for the top end. I've rebuilt motors before, and I did a lot of the standard things that you would do on a normal motor, like a V8 Chevrolet or whatever. And with that, those things failed to be true with this engine. So when I did what I would normally do on a V8 engine, it's a little bit different on this one, which I knew down the road was going to cause some problems. It started burning oil the last couple of mud rides. A little bit, not horrible, but I don't like it. The rebuild kit's not a big deal on the top end. Typically, you never have to go into the bottom end of these. So I downloaded the manual. I went through the manual, and I found out there were some very specific things that I did not do, and they specifically said you have to do these things. And some of it has to do with just the way you set the rings up. Some of it was the valve adjustment. I looked up a lot of different places, and there was a lot of different tolerances for the valve adjustments. Long story short, when I went through the manual, I was wrong on that too. And I run it, for several years like that with the valves not adjusted properly. And I questioned it, but the information, as far as just searching on Google, you just got a lot of misinformation. So once I downloaded the manual, I knew this day was coming, because the reason I had to rebuild the engine in the first place is because it was rebuilt and someone didn't do it right. And there's a few things that they overlooked. One was a hose clamp for the radiator, and I was out in the mud in Pine Canyon here in Arkansas, which no longer is open, but it blew the radiator hose off. The engine got hot immediately, and it destroyed the engine. But the engine was not put together correctly. Someone had supposedly done a rebuild on it, but what they really did was just a re-ring. They used the old cylinders and the old pistons, put some new rings on it. That's never a good idea. Don't, unless it's a fresh motor. Put new rings on an old motor is not a rebuild. It's not going to work out. Those rings will rotate when they do. The gaps are going to open up, and when I took the motor apart from that, my ring gaps were 6 millimeters, which is not acceptable. It's not going to work. 17, 18 thousandths typically is where you are on most ring gaps for allow for a little bit of expansion and stuff. So I got the side-by-side that I'm going to do. I'm going to tear the motor down today. I'm going to try to get this on video. It's going to be raw footage. So I've kind of pre-started a few things. I pulled the fuel tank, pulled the doors off, pulled the seats out, pulled some of the stuff out. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it adds a lot of time to a video, and I don't want you guys to get bored watching the video. So I'm going to try to be ready to tear these two cylinders apart and get it done pretty quickly, and hopefully we can see why exactly what caused us to start burning oil. We may not know that 100% today. We may not ever know 100%. I got a good idea, though, it has something to do with the rings. And probably with the valve adjustment not running good, we probably washed a lot of gasoline down the cylinders. We probably got excessive wear on the cylinders because of that not running right. But with the mud riding that we do, it's not high performance riding, so it never was short on power ever. I mean, it had plenty of power to brake whatever you wanted to brake. So, you know, it felt fine, but it just didn't sound right. In addition to that, the timing was not correct. You got to have a special timing tool. The first time I set the timing, I got it right on the money, so I wasn't too worried about. A little bit later on, I bent a couple of valves because in that new engine rebuild that's supposed to have been done, they didn't change the timing chains. I thought they did. They looked new, but they were not new. They were stretched about 2 or 3 inches. They were horrible. And so one day when I went to crank it, you know, the timing skipped and it bent the valves. So when I put new valves in it and set the timing that time, I didn't get so lucky. And it ran fine, but you know, you could tell it wasn't right when it was cold until it got completely warmed up. So I've ordered those tools to get that done right. And then I'm going to order the rebuild kit at the end of this month. They're about $600 for a nice kit. If you go back factory, it's about $250. It's not that big a deal. A little bit of time and a little bit of patience. There's a few things that you got to be careful on the side-by-side. One is the timing chains. You know, you cannot let those fall down into the motor. You'll regret it if you do, because you'll end up pulling this engine and splitting the case, and it gets problematic. So there's a few things that we got to be careful with when doing this rebuild. So this is what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to get this on video, not on this video. I mainly wanted to welcome you guys to the channel. Appreciate that you come by. A lot of you guys are my friends that are on this channel, so I appreciate y'all stopping in. And maybe we'll be doing some projects later on with some of my friends. I really don't know. I've got the boat to do this winter too. That's primary for me this winter, is to get my boat where I want it to be for next summer. I had a blast this past summer. We had some issues with the boat, which we expected. Some things we expected, some things we didn't. But my primary goal is to get the boat finished out, get the woodwork done I want to do, get the radio done how I want to do it. I want to pull the outdrive off. Probably going to rebuild the Alpha 1 Gen 2 outdrive. We're definitely going to go through that. It's been leaking water. That's I've got enough pumps on there. It doesn't matter, but I don't want my boat leaking water like that. I'd rather, because if it's water's getting into the boat, water's getting into the wood, it's going to rot the wood. So I'd rather get that fixed. And I want to spend most of my weekends on the boat at night on the lake, and I don't have to worry about it leaking all the time. So typically I'll park in shallow water, shallow enough that if it does, you know, try to sink, it's just going to sink and sit on the bottom. You know, it's not that big a deal. But I don't want to have to be that careful next year. I would rather have everything fixed and be ready to go. So that's my primary goal this winter. We'll have some other stuff to do, but for now, it's going to be the side-by-side this month. I'll take it apart today. If I take it apart today and all it needs is rings for some weird reason, I may just order rings and then re-ring it, because ultimately I want to put a new engine in it. I want to do 1200 cc on it, a big bore kit. So if it just needs something just super simple like that, I'm just going to order the rings and put it back together and use it till I'm ready to do the engine. But I don't suspect that's going to be the case. I suspect that the cylinders are going to be worn abnormally, and I imagine they'll be too out of round to just re-ring. So most likely we'll be doing an engine kit, which I will do. I will order that kit probably at the end of this month or first of next month, something like that. And it won't take that long to get it back together. It's not going to take that long to get it apart today. I'm going to do it in real time. I've taken a few things out of the way that's you know, problematic, but for the most part the engine is intact. I disconnected the fuel lines from the fuel tank, pulled the fuel tank, pulled the doors, seats, the plastics off, and the cross members above the engine. So we're going to take the valve covers off, take the heads off, take the cylinders off with the pistons and rings and all that. So I'm going to get that on video best I can. I'm out here by myself today. My wife's not feeling well, plus she has to work today. So she wasn't able to come out and help. But thanks for coming by the channel. You know, like when you can. You know, subscribe if you want to. Comments help. You know, anytime you leave a positive comment on a video, it helps it move up. You know, it takes a long time to build a channel. I don't know how big I want this channel to be honest with you. I just kind of do a lot of things in my life, and a lot of it is working on stuff and rebuilding stuff, welding and grinding and whatever. And I'm not perfect. I'm not a master mechanic or master anything. I do HVAC. I can do that on, you know, residential, commercial, or on vehicles. So we'll probably see some of that throughout the year. Maybe it'll just be a few tips. Maybe it'll be a total rebuild. I don't know. I've done that. I've done heating and air in some form or fashion for a good part of my life. So I can definitely see that coming into the channel. I got, you know, some kind of air conditioning maybe that I want to put on the boat. I haven't decided yet what I want to do there. I want it to be energy efficient. And if I can, I want to be able to use lake water to run the condensing. So make it kind of like a geothermal, so to speak. But I want to make it as efficient as we can. If I can eliminate a condenser and a fan and just use a pump, I think it would be more energy efficient to do that. And you don't need much air conditioning on the boat, to be honest with you. You're not trying to air condition a boat during the day. It's not a boat big enough that you're hanging out below deck, you know, during the day. You're swimming and cooking and doing all that stuff, and then just at night time. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here for now. I do appreciate y'all coming by and watching the content on my channel. I know the content's not that great, and I've told you I'm gonna do better. And this winter I intend on trying to educate myself a little bit on editing and things like that. It's very, very, very new for me. I've shot video a lot in my life. I've been a part of videos a lot in my life. I used to be an assistant skydiving instructor. We shot videos and took pictures during that. But it was never my equipment. It was never my job. So if I shot a video, when I got on the ground, I just handed it to somebody. They went through and edited, added the music, and did all the cool stuff to it, you know. And for me, I just was helping out for a day or whatever. So I've shot videos with my drones, and I've done all that stuff, but I've never edited any of it, never added music to any of it. So I do not have a clue how that's done. And I've got friends that's done it, and maybe I can reach out to them. Maybe they can help me out a little bit. And I might even hire it done. I don't know. I know that a lot of people hire their editing done on YouTube, and it's a way to take the bearing off of yourself, especially when you don't know what you're doing. You can just create a lot of content, and they can chop it up, make it exciting, and everybody can enjoy it. And that's what I ultimately want. I want people to enjoy the channel, and if I can, you know, somehow be a positive influence in someone's life, you know, whether it be with this or just anything, that's what I want to be. And we're going to do this today, and I'm probably going to do another video on my electric scooter today, where I had a flat the other day. I fixed a flat, but I want to go back into the tire, and I want to do a little bit of sanding on the rim and stuff like that. So I'll probably do that today. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Sorry for rambling on. You'll notice throughout my channel that I talk a lot. And I hope y'all enjoy your day. And then I hope this video turns out good for this tear down on this motor. I'm just going to try to place the camera in one spot that just best kind of where you can see everything that you can. You're not going to be able to see everything. Of course, I'm not going to be able to move it around. My hands are going to be greasy and stuff from tearing this down. But you know, the light's going to be questionable. You know, so we'll see. Anyway, y'all have a good day. It's Sunday. It's beautiful here in Arkansas. The weather is absolutely gorgeous outside, and it's going to be a good day to be out here. I'm not actually outside. I'm in the barn, but I'm a part of today's weather for sure. And anyway, just enjoy your day, and spend some time watching my channel when you can. Don't waste too much of your time watching TV though, and YouTube and all that stuff. And when you do, make sure it's something that makes you happy. You know, watch things that make you happy, put you in a good mood. Well, that's what I do. When I get up in the morning, I'm watching some of my favorite YouTube guys. It's people that make me happy, you know, and it starts off my day in a positive note. So, but they release a lot of content, so you know, try to find things that inspire you and that make you happy. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I'm gonna start this video, and I'll upload this one and the other one hopefully today. Y'all have a good one.